Hello, and welcome back. I did say by the third episode I would have a guest.
Yes.
And yes.
Were you talking to yourself this whole time?
Yeah, no, that's the whole point of the podcast is me talking about myself. I feel like every time I've done podcasts, I've always had someone with me and someone I've had to rely on. But this is the first venture I've had by myself. Huh. So these are more like the special episodes when I bring someone in to talk about things. And boy, special. I said the episode for special. I said the episode for special. But what is so wonderful about having you on the show is the conspiracy and the drama surrounding us and social media.
This is our chance to clear the air.
Yes,
God damn it.
The fact that we're both wearing green is not helpful.
Listen, this was all by accident. This isn't a cute coupley thing. I swear to Bob. This is just a best friend thing.
Best friend thing.
Me and Coy do this all the time, but honestly, people think that we also get romance rumors too.
Absolutely wouldn't be the best you. But that's number one subject, but we'll get to that as we get to that. But number two is you had a very interesting love parameter in the last year.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
You're like, what's the whole? Because I was
she means
like,
I've been around.
I did not say that. What? Well.
I mean, we can get into it.
We will.
But what did you mean?
What I mean by that is because I was going to say situationship, but that means one. But I just mean from the start to finish of being in a long committed relationship to that, unfortunately ending. And now you on this journey of self-discovery, of love, of finding, I think you even put on your stories of finding a partner and that being not only something you want, it seems like a visceral goal that you're trying to achieve in this new year.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the big thing that I want to talk about. And then, since we're on that subject of finding partners, I have a couple of questions that apparently are supposed to be things that you ask on a first date to kind of figure out whether or not this is a partner that you feel like you could find longevity.
Like it's a formula or something like that? Like there's a certain 5 questions?
It's 103. But
I've
narrowed them down. This is like the serious dating. This is like those speed dating where you really got to get them out quickly.
This is when you're like in your 35 to 40 range and you're just trying to get married.
That's like us now.
I'm 32. Okay,
for like
you're
another
32.
week and a half.
Yeah, you're true. But still, like we're not there yet. But that's what I'm saying. It's like when you just want to get married and you just want to get to it.
Isn't that where we are?
I feel like I'm in that spot though.
That
I just want to.
Is where we are. We're like, that's a different.
But like, I want to like.
Okay,
but like first date.
Not everyone's listening to this on YouTube, so we're podcasting. So you're just making.
I'm just making sound. Oh, so I can sound like I just wanna. I feel like we all want to eventually, but what I mean by I just want to be serious about this, right?
Were
like
you not
I don't want
serious before. What is it like a new?
It's not that I wasn't serious before. Like there was a point where I wasn't serious. You remember? You have all the stories. You know them all, which is why we're not dating. She knows too much about.
I know everything, and that's the weird thing. And I've talked to Coy about this too. But I somehow slipped into bro. And I'm not mad at it. I love that I am bro with my bros. But that means that
you're a great bro.
I'm a great bro. And the thing about you and I is we don't have a lot of intimate friends. Like you and I probably together, I have 5, you have 5 that we could probably call up and talk about anything 100%. And everything. And unfortunately, you and I are that person for each other. And so that means that when we want to talk about some stuff,
we get into it.
We get into it. And it's great.
So all my past, she knows everything.
I know everything.
She knows everything.
And it's funny that you say that because half the past come to me to be like, what happened? See, why did I, how is, but immediately
and like a good bro. You are Marshall. You are Marshall in my How I Met Your Mother.
I know that, and I gladly accept it. And it's just, that's what happens when you date half of my friends. Like, what are you going to say?
I didn't date half your friends. What? No, I did not.
That was the circles. We had the circles.
I did not date half your friends.
Hey,
there is circles.
Also, anyone that you talk about, you need to give separate names. You need to come up with nicknames for anyone that you talk about.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, but how would you know what name I'm talking about?
I would know, because you would say it in a way that would make sense.
Okay, first off, like
driver's license was one of the first ones.
Driver's license,
or rather, lack thereof.
Oh, well,
that's a way because that could be so many different people.
That's 2 people.
Damn. See,
that's 2 people. One of which was my ex-wife.
No. I would just say I love the love of my life if I was talking about her. That's just point blank period.
Driver's license. What? This is where it gets bad because I'm like, who didn't have a driver's license?
Damn. And this is how.
No, wait a minute.
I feel.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but that wasn't your friend. That wasn't your friend.
No, this was in relation to we need to give them nicknames.
Okay. So you say driver's license. Okay, I'm about to say that wasn't your friend. Okay, well, give me another one.
We're talking about your ex. I'm saying the love of my life, and you should know who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about when you say the love of my life.
Love of my life.
I know who you're talking about. That wasn't your friend first.
First of all,
and I didn't know
my friend always. That was my from the womb friend.
From the womb friend.
We found each other eventually.
Eventually, exactly. I didn't even know you guys were like, so that doesn't count.
But just to say, if you were going to talk about someone, which we will.
This is just for the pod. Because I'm really just like, that's not true.
You're going through the list.
I tried.
Going through the list.
I will say that I tried with one or two. I'll maybe give you 3, 4.
Give me 4. Give me at least 4.
Give you at least 4. I can only give you. There
were several conversations in the beginning where you were like, "Hey, what about this person? Like, how deep in the circle are they?" Well, I'm counting those,
and that's fine. That's fine. I just want to know. Oh, you're counting those, and I'm
counting those.
You think I'm just trying to get all the?
I'm at work because we're past that.
Okay, so
that was your early stages of.
So one is your little one.
Yeah.
Who's in I cherish our friendship. She's in a loving relationship.
We're calling her little bit.
She seems really great. Little one. Yeah, the little one.
Yeah,
I'll call her the little one. Yeah, right.
The little one's knee deep.
She's in a loving thing.
Which surprised the hell out of me, by the way. I didn't know that happened until.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit called me one day and was just talking, and I heard voices in the background.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, I'm at my boyfriend's." I said, "At your what?"
Yeah.
At your home? She's like, "Yeah, it's been like months." And I was like, "Oh, has it?"
I'm not gonna lie to you. If I do find the one, I'm probably not gonna tell you until it's official.
I would appreciate that.
No, that's why. That's why. Because I know.
Absolutely. Because it's.
I know that I've been like, I know that I've been like, hey, I've catfished you with a lot of but in all fairness,
in the moment,
it feels great, and then something happens or another, and then things happen, and then it doesn't end up working out.
I don't want to know until you're
not until it's
I'm not on one knee.
Not on one knee, because I never put the label. I never put the girlfriend.
I know you don't.
Either one of them.
And that's
but I'm not letting you know until I do that. Is what I'm letting you know. So until it's locked in, and then it's I'll let you know right before the heart.
Where's the poo, Robin?
I'll let you know right before the heart.
Where's the poo, Robin?
What? There's poo. There's no poo.
Where's the poo, Robin?
There's no poo. Anyway, so little one for sure. There was little one. There was.
I love that we're going through your roster right now.
No, there's not. I mean, I wouldn't call it a roster. I would just call it my saga of dating, love life, I guess.
Sure.
It wasn't
the saga of dating.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I do. There was Vegas to Houston.
Yeah, that was where does they fall into that?
Stop it.
Where does they fall into that one? We just not.
First of all, that wasn't your friend. We're talking about your friend. You're just bringing up shit now. You're just bringing up shit. Okay, you're just bringing.
We'll wipe that from the record. We're gonna
wipe
get that.
You're just bringing up stuff now. You need to bring it up. I gotta tell you about that though. That was That saga is never ending.
Jesus,
and oh my gosh.
I'll bleep that out. I'll bleep the word out. We're gonna keep everything else.
Yes. Yes, that saga is
ongoing and ridiculous.
No, I
just what because obviously
there's one more text that needs to be said.
Girl,
that's all I'll say.
For me, I am very much in the I'm trying to be open. But for me, I mean, you know me. One of my big character points is that I am broke. And I don't want to enter in a relationship unless it's something that is mutual or it's we're on even footing.
Absolutely.
And that's my thing. And I live alone. That's great. We both have that. We both live alone, so that's nice. You feel comfortable bringing people over. But when you can't go out and spend money, or if they buy things for you, you just want it to be on equal footing. So my question then is to you, being someone that socially, that even now monetarily, that status-wise is not really on the same footing as a lot of the people that you're dating. Do you feel like that becomes an issue for some of these people? Or have you found that being conflict on some level?
Who I am and what I do at the level of which I do it hasn't been an issue, luckily, for a lot of the people that I've dated.
Have you noticed that it's an appealing thing? Is that a turn on?
There's some things. There's some times where I would notice it is an appeal to them, and that does turn me off a little bit. Which is why usually I try to go outside the circle or like whatever. It sounds nice, right? It sounds
one of the big
nice.
Questions in my very first episode is: do we want to find partners that are in the know, that are in the same industry as us? Is that the appealing factor? But then we have to constantly worry about, oh, can I post this? Oh, can I be MooreAmor versus Jasmine? Do I have to, if we break up, does that mean that we're breaking up with the millions of followers that we have, and we have to do that awkward, hey guys, we just want to talk. Like, we're still friends, but we're not, those stupid ass videos. Or do we try to find someone who's outside of our circle, but then you risk them not wanting to be in the limelight, and that's kind of how we make our money.
I mean, as someone who was married, and it wasn't even like a public like knowledge type of thing, like I'll drop it here and there and like certain videos, and it wasn't like, hey, we're making videos. We weren't a couple account. There was nothing like that.
Right.
Like,
but I seen Star on your.
She was there.
I think she popped into some of your lives.
Yeah, she has popped into lives. Like, we've done lives together and things like that. But it wasn't necessarily like our relationship is online type of situation. So I'm very open with where I'm at, like romantic wise.
Sure.
But I'm also private with like our relationship, if that makes sense.
Would you ever be one of those online couples?
It depends. Like, if she's online and I'm online and like we think it's a good idea to make content together, then it's just one of those naturally, like, you collaborate with your friends, you collaborate with your partner, exactly, you know what I'm saying? So if a romantic thing ever does happen like that, then sure. But it's not the goal.
But that's not something you would seek out.
It's not something that I seek out. And like, contrary to popular belief,
what's the popular belief?
Is that people think that I'm swimming in hose. Can I say that?
Swimming in hose?
I'm not swimming in hose. Like, contrary. Like, my DMs are not filled with...
First of all, yes, they are.
No,
they are not filled with women.
No,
it's just...
Yes, they're filled. They're filled with other things. My DMs are very wholesome.
Your DMs are filled. Your text messages are filled. Your emails are filled. It's just red. It's anxiety filled.
Or unread. And it's just...
No. Red is in the red notification.
Yes. Oh, yes. But, like, people tend to think that, like, one, I have cosplay women like running after me, or like I got a bunch of like slides in there. It's not like that at all. My DMs are very wholesome. They just want to know what movie I'm watching.
Though. We all saw him in that suit.
The lives are different because like when I put on the Black Panther suit, they just come out to play. And I did that wholesomely. Again,
no, you did not.
At first, but then those views started to. But then I was like, I see why the OnlyFans people do it.
That's why you get that instant gratification, and it just feels good. That was the episode that.
But that's not normal, right?
Getting instant gratification.
Well, that's not normal for me, right? Like,
oh, I see.
That's not normal for me.
Well,
like
that was something we had talked about when you first kind of started popping off. Was that it was a feeling that you didn't really get when you were younger, when you were working at Disney. It was because you have to. It's a fake.
I didn't get a lot of like affection from the opposite sex growing up.
And so now you're getting it. But that's my question though. Is like, do you feel that it is art? Is it an artificial kind of appreciation that you feel like you're getting?
That stays in the back of my mind all the time, right? Because I know that I've grown into myself. Like, I know the confidence has increased since I started doing, a little bit before, since I started doing what I've been doing.
Sure.
And I know that adds to the attractiveness, so to speak.
Knowing who you are and standing by your convictions.
I'm sure. But I remember, like, I've been this way as much as I could remember, right? Like, I've been this.
Sure.
But that somehow never seemed to attract the people that I wanted to attract. And
now that you have the following, the numbers,
it seems it happens more frequently now.
That sucks.
Right?
How do you, I guess, because you have found women that you feel like are the one to whatever that degree is for you. How did you, was it something that you saw in them or a conversation, or was it just you willing to jump and fall and just go for it? What was the difference?
A lot of times I try to go for women that I think are on equal footing with me in that type of respect. Like, love of my life, had her own thing going on, right? Like, separate from me, she was always going to be successful at what she's doing. And like, we're really good friends now, and I'm super proud of her for everything that she's doing. And that was a big thing that attracted me to her in the first place. And I felt like when we were together, we were kind of like a power couple, sort of, in a speak, right? Like, I don't give her anything but a partnership
and support,
right? And it was the same, like, coming from her side to my side. So those are the type of people that I try to be in league with when it comes to romance.
Sure.
But would never, I don't want to say like date down, because that sounds like very, very shallow.
It does.
Why did that pop in your head though? Like, date down?
Well,
or
my
just
thing
like
is say the wrong thing and then fix it.
Yeah.
At least then you're starting to like discuss.
Yeah, it's like power dynamics are like a real thing, right? And I did, have certain things with like probably no driver's license,
Yes.
with who just didn't necessarily seem ready yet to be on my level, or was kind of approaching.
Okay.
And so, and I've been in a whole relationship where like we were just going in different directions, where I was approaching here, they were going over there. And so I just kind of, in the middle of that, I saw that was happening again. And it was like, you're not.
It was that PTSD feeling.
A little bit. It was. I remember I told you, I was like, I understood what Usher was saying now when he said, "You remind me of a girl that I once knew." That I once knew. And I was like, yeah, no, it was a big no-go for me, because it felt like a power dynamic in that sense. And it didn't matter no matter how much I liked her. I was like, I can't do it.
And there was obviously a big switch between being married, from being in love and having that stability, and then going from that to, okay, I want to play, to where we are now. Yes. So can you talk about those transitions?
Yeah. And I feel like that's like, I know it's only been 2.5 years or almost, but for me it felt like a whole era of my life. They were
such different, and knowing your behavior and watching you go through that, and the way that you would talk and conduct yourself, they were very different Julian. So
and I'll take you back to the Julian before you met, the one that you didn't meet yet. Sure. So like, I've told you about him, the one that didn't get a lot of...
I've heard very many tales of old Julian of the past. Old
Julian. You make them sound so epic. They're really not that epic at all.
What am I going to do? I narrate audio.
Thank you. Well, thank you for narrating my life.
The audience is listening on MP3 on Spotify. What am I supposed to do? I have to elevate.
You elevated my life. Thank you. There you go. But the Julian before marriage was one that did not receive a lot of female attention, didn't receive a lot of affection from the opposite sex. I wouldn't say he was ugly. Like, and this was the thing too. Like, and I'm just gonna take it back to high school, because that's like literally the most previous before.
This is us dusting off.
The reason why I'm taking it back.
Dust off the book.
Let's dust off the book, and the reason why I'm taking it back was because high school was the immediate thing before what became my marriage. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So
you guys met when you were like high school.
We met in high school. Yeah. I didn't date throughout high school, and then my first year in college, we got together, and then marriage.
And then the sweet darling
sitting in a tree, KISSING.
KISSA having a baby.
Yeah, we did the whole thing. We did the whole adult thing. Whole nother life. But during that period, again, no affection from the opposite sex. Despite doing everything that I thought attracted the opposite sex, right? Like, I played basketball. I was really in shape. Like, I was.
Women only like basketball.
This is a high school juju we're talking, right? But not even just that. I took the whole route of Zac Efron in the High School Musical. I was a full Troy Bolton.
Did you get your head in the game, though?
I got my head in the game, right? Captain of the basketball team, lead in plays, very popular around school. Like, I don't want to say voted most successful, but everyone knew I was like on a path to do something successful.
To be successful, you were achieving.
I was achieving, and even whilst in the midst of this, no female attention at all, which is a huge blow.
Would you have known if it happened?
I like my women very straightforward, and where I saw friends who did less get very straightforward advances, I was like, well, where are my straightforward advances, right?
I see. So if it would have happened and it was kind of on the fly, you would not have acknowledged that as something.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Right? So, and that's kind of, and this is where self-reflection and healing comes in, where like I look back on my marriage and my relationship, the marriage relationship, whatever you want to call it. Marriage. I realized that because I wasn't getting a lot of love and affection, that I decided subconsciously that I was going to latch on to the first person who gave it to me, and I was going to love that person despite red flags, despite like giving up what I held as like a value in a relationship.
Sure.
And so there was a lot of things in that relationship that didn't match up with me, right? But I stayed because it was the thought of, well, if this doesn't work, it's not going to work with anybody, because no matter how successful I get, it's not going to work.
It's crazy. I talked about this in my first episode of this podcast, is I was the opposite. I always saw just because of the way I grew up and the way that I in this industry is, you know, you got to be better, you have to find better, you have to do better. And so I never felt like anyone that I dated was enough because it was always going to be someone or something where I could always be better or I could always, you know, it was a different kind of self-deprecation.
It's like living up to expectations you place on yourself and like consider yourself good enough for the future relationship that you keep moving the goalposts
that I keep moving in. Like even when I was dating someone and like hey, you're the person that I happen to be making out with today, I would think about, well, I mean, I could find someone 6 foot taller who has a better job or, you know,
and that
works
sucks.
out more. It absolutely
that sucks because I've been in that mode where it's like I can find someone better, but it's like
well, and when you're growing up on these dating apps where all you have to do is just swipe
and then there's always someone better or better looking, I should say,
or
like, you know,
smarter
or something
better job or you know, may love you more, may cuddle longer. You know, there's always something else, and so that's hard because then you have people who are the genuine article who could be the perfect person for you, and you could never see it.
Yeah,
because you're so concerned about, well, what's wrong with them though? What do you mean that they're perfect for me? How does that? This doesn't work.
You know what broke me out of that was J. Cole. I was in my.
Of course, it's a musician.
Of course, like, you know, like.
Of course, it's a musician.
I was going through the period. Daniel will tell you this because he saw my playlist after like something recently ended. It was like, oh, honey, boo boo. Like, what are you doing?
Good, sweetie, come on.
But
come talk.
But it was a J. Cole song, and for the life of me, I can't remember. But it's the one that goes, "There ain't no life that's better than yours. That's better than yours." And there was a lyric that said, like, there's always gonna be a B word better than the one that you got, but you're never gonna love another one more than the one that you got, like something like that. And it's like when you have yours,
that sounds like a challenge, J. Cole. That sounds like a challenge. Accepted.
Listen, like, but it like made me think, like, when you're in love with somebody, like when you truly like love somebody, it doesn't matter like how beautiful other people are. Yes, you cannot be blind. Like, you're not blind. Like, we're opposite sex. We see attraction. We get attracted to these people.
Sure thing.
But when you're in love with somebody, that's the one that's more beautiful than the baddest girl on the planet.
But how do you get to that stage?
But that's the problem. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for, right? And it's like, and I think that comes from finding someone who is not only beautiful, because we all know that attraction is like the initial thing that you know, we go for. So you pass that, you're already super attractive. But then it's like finding out like what's happening inside, what makes their brain tick, where the values match up, and that right there is like what pluses up the beauty. And it's like, because listen, I had a choice between 2 women, right?
Sure.
Started talking to them at around the same time.
Wild.
Right? I mean, it's like, I'm looking for, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those, like, there's always the one that's badder, or like, whatever, right? And so there was one who was, like, admittedly badder than the other one.
Sure.
But the other one's still pretty bad, right? Like, she's a baddie. It's just this one is like, ooh, right? But then I, like, talking to this one, the super baddie, and then talking to the baddie, I'm like, the super baddie is like...
Super baddie and the baddie.
The super baddie and the baddie. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know how else to put it. They're both bad. I'm just saying, like, the point? So but the point is that you're always gonna find someone hotter, right? And I would say, like, the one who was hotter in this instance, and it was like by this much. I'm not gonna go for the one that's hotter because the more I talked to her, the more like I heard her talk, the more I found out
that it wasn't for you.
And again, she isn't a bad person. I'm not saying that she's a bad person. She wasn't for me, and I was like, "You're bad as heck. I can't see myself being in love with you, though." Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's when you start to get to that level.
But you know what would have really helped you in that situation? Asking these questions.
Oh my God. Oh my! You didn't even let me finish my life story.
No, I didn't. Because we're gonna come back in the next one to swing that.
That's
the
true.
Point is, you never finish. We never finish anything we start here because we always got to leave them.
The point is that after I was married. The point is that after that I was married, I felt like I missed out on a legitimate like looking for love, looking for love / like having my fun whilst looking for love era.
You missed your 20s.
I missed my 20s. I've been in a relationship since I was 18, 17. And then I got out of it when I was 30. So I missed the entirety of the
or at least the playing stages of your 20s.
That part. right? I was so concerned with going straight to adult, and I felt like I missed out, and I didn't really know who I was, what I liked, what I deserved, like what I was looking for. And so
you didn't know what you were looking
I didn't know what I was looking for. So like I had to get out there and just shoot from the hip, so to speak.
No, you did.
To find what I liked, find what I was looking for, what I valued.
You were shooting from, but
listen, it's all part of the hip, I guess. It moves with the hip, but that's what I found out, like who I was, what I liked, what I valued. And now that I'm in this mode of seriously dating, like I can just dismiss what I automatically can be like, okay, that's not what I'm into. I'm looking for something real, and now I'm here where I am right now. So those are the phases
I love that.
of romantic juju. So yeah,
those are nice phases. But let's get into, now we're here and we're fishing around, we're trying,
we're doing a thing,
and we gotta ask the questions. Now, this is just a personal question for me. Before we get into the advice sections or the question sections, what film do you think mirrors your dating life now?
Ooh.
Do you want to sit with that for a minute?
Hold on, because I have two, actually.
You only get one.
Only get one?
So
I gotta choose one.
You have to choose one.
Okay.
Go ahead. Shit.
Okay.
We're live. I need you to. We're not live.
No. People like the anticipation. People like this. They a little bit.
On a podcast,
what you do is you zoom in the whole time.
We're not zooming in. This is Spotify. What's gonna be?
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, there's no zoom in. Imagine a zoom in as I contemplate my movie Love Life. Zoom in. Okay, I got it. I would say it's Her. And realize you roll your eyes, but I'm gonna say.
You know what's crazy?
I could have said the other thing.
Can I just?
I could have said.
Her is set in 2025.
Is it?
Yes.
Really?
Her is set in 2020.
This is just a beautiful day. Her is my all-time favorite movie, and that just made me happy.
You didn't
know
that?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Her is set in the year 2025.
I really want to recreate her during Valentine's Day.
You
bathe my entire world in red because that movie looks gorgeous. The reds in that movie look gorgeous.
You should ask Isaiah to help you with that.
Oh, he would?
Alrighty, here we go. We're going to get into the questions.
Gotta be her.
So these are the questions that when you're asking your partner in order to see if you guys are on the same level, intellectually, desire-wise. Just these are, and we're going to kind of spitball because there's 9 of them. But here we go. Here's question 1. Have you achieved any of your dreams? This is you asking your partner. Have you achieved any of your dreams?
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah?
That's a good one.
Have you achieved any of your dreams?
I've achieved plenty of my dreams, for sure.
And what would happen if the partner hadn't achieved any of their dreams yet? Would that be a turn on or a turn off?
It depends. Are they in the process of going after their dreams? Are they going after it?
We have no idea. Just you have not at this age, because I'm assuming you're dating around 27 to 30, and they have not achieved any of their dreams yet. So your follow-up question would be, are you trying to actively pursue?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Like, what are you doing to pursue those dreams? Like, what is your dream, right? Like, what are you doing to do that? Is it just talk right now, or is it in the process? And I could get with somebody in the process.
I don't know if I get with someone who's just talking about it.
Not just talking about it, but actively saying, like, I'm doing these steps. I'm in the process of doing these steps right now. And the best part is if they're passionate about it.
My thing
that
is,
part
if they're really passionate about it, I'd find ways to be involved.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying.
But that's how you'd want to do it.
But exactly. So if your dreams aren't achieved, are you in the process of doing it? And if you're passionate about it, I'm like, oh shit, I'm in. Yeah, how can I help that? I love seeing people talk.
Question
so
2. And this one, I would leave the table if someone asked me this, because it's too much. I would leave the table. I'd be like, this is none of your business. This day 1. Okay. The question is, what is your relationship with your family like?
You would leave the table?
I would leave I'd be like, we're not there yet. We're not there yet, and it's fine because they would probably get up and leave.
Yeah, it does sound like a wild But I can answer that.
But I could say I don't have a close relationship with most people in my family, and you'd be like, okay,
that's cool.
Why? What's wrong with you? Like, it's such a double-edged. You could accept.
Yeah, I like how you went right to what's wrong with you. That's such a judgment.
That's how we are. Like, that's such a scary thing. Like, people want. There are so many people who want strong family dynamics, and if you don't have a strong relationship with your family, who's to say that when we have kids that you're gonna, you're gonna be able to give them the emotional support that they need because you didn't get it, and that's so scary. Which is why I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna inseminate myself and have my own kid.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Question 3.
Somebody asked you that, didn't they?
So many. Every date I've ever been on,
really?
it always pops up, and I don't know. I don't know
I
if
would
it's
leave if
just
somebody asked me what was wrong with me after my answer.
Well, like not that anyone's ever, but you can see on their face how quickly they deflate. But people always ask, like, "How are you with your parents?" Like, because
I mean, people don't know each other's circumstances, though.
Because it always goes from like, "How many siblings do you have?" Oh, what about your parents? Are they still alive? Do you talk to them? And it's slow. It's a slow build, and you don't realize it. How quickly you get into. What do you mean you haven't talked to your mother since you were 12 years old? What does that mean? Why not? She hasn't tried to reach out to you. First of all, back up.
I mean, what if the person on a date is an orphan? Do they just?
I'm so sorry. That's the bummer.
I'm like,
how were the fosters?
Yeah, like how was that?
How was that?
I don't know. I'm just imagining myself on a date with someone and asking these questions.
I would say, do you want?
I'm very inquisitive.
Would
like
you like ketchup?
It's not a question I've asked a lot,
Don't
like off a first date.
Don't do it.
But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to judge. I just want to know like where you come from and like how does
save it for date 2.
Yeah, okay.
Number 4.
I like how you're telling me to date now. Save it for date 2.
Save it for date 2.
It'll be a hit.
Number 3. What are your red flags? Give me 2 of your red flags.
Red flags. Ooh. Has no desire to work. Oh, if they put too much into material things.
Oh.
Like I remember.
I understand that. I don't think anyone's ever come over and said that.
Yeah, they like I remember that I was seeing someone and she was describing like Ubers. We were just talking about Ubers and she was talking about how like she thinks she deserves like, the best in life, things like that, which is nothing wrong with. We all feel like we deserve the best in life. But when she was like,
it's like in a superiority way.
This is where it turned left, because it's like it's one thing to say like I deserve to get myself something nice.
Sure.
It's another thing to be like, if you're going on a date with me, don't even bother calling an Uber X. You have to call it Uber Black. And I'm like,
bye.
That
Bye.
Like literally everything shifted in that moment. Oh my God, ew. Literally everything shifted in that moment.
You would lose so much money.
It was Toronto.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Of course, that makes sense. That absolutely tracks in every possible way.
Yeah.
My red flags are if you, because I talk about this a lot, you have to have your own life. And if you don't have your own like goals and aspirations, or like if you can't be yourself, and like if you're mad at me because I'm not giving you whatever imaginary allotted time you think that you deserve. Yeah. And it's like you have to understand that we will come together and we'll find mutual times, but if I can't make that because of my work or things I have to do, that it's not a reflection of me disliking you, it's just how it is. Right. And like to appreciate the time that we have together. Yeah. Let's appreciate the time when we do come together, and because we both have our own likes and interests, it's okay that we're not together all of the time.
I've probably only been to this house like 12 times.
If that, bro.
That's always being generous.
I know.
And we're
Ever's
still
been
besties.
To this house more than you have.
No, I wouldn't say that. It's a funny joke, but I wouldn't say that. That would be funny though if my daughter was here more than I've ever been.
Babysitting, I drive by and then
and you tell you that's a touch point. She's here. We drove by. We're here.
I digress. All right, your green flags. Give me 2 green flags.
Again, I said this earlier, but I love it when a woman has like a hobby or a passion and she's just so into it. I can sit there and just be like, listen to this woman talk.
I already know what your second green flag is. When you're direct.
Direct is, I love a direct
Literally
woman.
The 2 things you talked about on this podcast.
I love a direct woman. Like, I don't like games. I don't like having to guess.
Games are so fun.
Games are fun. Don't get me wrong. Games are fun.
You're just contradicting yourself.
Games are fun, but like when it comes to, I need people to tell me how they feel about me. Right? I don't want...
That's when you went the words of affirmation?
The words of affirmation. I'm a big physical touch words of affirmation guy. You gotta keep petting me and tell me that like I'm handsome and gorgeous. You got to.
That's too needy for me. That's a red flag. Put that
in
red flag
I'm sorry.
Category.
I'm not red flag. Needy because like if you don't give it to me, then it's just gonna fizzle out for me. Right? Like we can still be cool, but I'm gonna just be like, you're not giving it to me, so like maybe you don't like me as much as I thought you did. So I like women who can express their affection. That's what I should say. If you can express affection, that's cool. Whether it's the words, whether it's that's why we're besties.
That's fair.
That's why we're besties.
That's so exhausting.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that is an extra job I don't have time for. Like the fact that we are dating should be enough for you, and I get it. Yes, I need to do all these extra little things. I was in a whole marriage. I understand.
It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
But what I'm saying is,
do you like me? Do you like me?
No,
with a ring on my finger.
Like, I think doing special things when it's important. Like, I think if you're telling someone you're pretty, you're perfect, you're amazing all the time, it dilutes its value.
Not all the time.
So hang on. You had your speech. I'm gonna have mine.
Go ahead.
So I think that it's a willingness that I want to give, because then when I give it to you, it matters more. But if you're telling me that you need that in order to know, like, that's, again, but two different people.
No, can I clarify?
No,
I don't literally need you right here all the time.
Bruh,
Just when I walk in with a towel, just like, damn, give me like a little something. Show me I'm handsome.
Can you wipe the floor? It's real wet in there.
What?
Like, because that's what, if you came out and I'd be like, can you make sure you wipe get the
Perfect.
Floor? No, wipe the floor because you're tracking. Like, that's what I would. That's my. Did you make sure to squeegee the? Did you clean your hair?
See, no. Tell me I'm hot. Give me like a little like a little something. Make me smirk a little bit. I like
Question
that.
5. Where? It's wonderful that I'm doing this question now. Where do you find happiness in your life?
Where do I find happiness in my life? You know what?
When you're complimented.
When I'm complimented. When I'm complimented. But that's the thing, that, like, contrary to popular belief, when people compliment me, like, out on the street or whatever, like, I don't know how to handle it. I just like, but when I'm complimented by somebody that I'm into, that's when I'm like,
that's where you find your happiness.
That's where I find it. So, like, compliments from other people, it's nice. It's not necessarily like something that makes me go, yes, I'm gonna date you. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
I find happiness in the little points of acknowledgement. And what I mean by that is, if I say something today, like, oh, I really liked watching I don't even know, basketball game number 1743. I don't know basketball.
It's only 82 games.
Whatever, bro. And then, like, 3 weeks from now, you are like, hey, I happen to remember that you like this basketball game. Here's a photo of that guy that you had talked about. Like, those little things where you, like, you're out in the world and you see something and you're like, oh, this made me think of you. Like that. And it's so arbitrary and small and inane. But those little moments where it's like, and that's what I mean. Like, I don't need you to shower me with appreciation, but those little moments that say, I thought of you. And I knew, like, I am happy when other people are happy.
Yeah. Read the question again.
God diggity. Where do you find happiness in your life?
Not in romance, but just in my life.
Well, these are questions you're asking on the date.
Okay.
To get to know someone.
Okay. Shit, watching a movie, curled up on the couch, just like chilling. That's where I'm at.
Vibey videos.
Just my little vibey videos, you know? Good movie in front of me.
Here's a good one, because you brought this up earlier. What are your core values? Give me 2.
Core values, money can always be taken away, so therefore work as if, you know, you're gonna miss it. 2, you always have the choice to do the right thing. Always. I like that one. You know, I'm going through that right now. Trying to do the right thing, despite I could just not. But I gotta do it. You know.
I think my core value, it's similar, but it's not even a value. It's just the immortality of it all. It's leaving a legacy. It's leaving behind something that's going to outlive you. And it's not even a core value, but that just goes in the trying and the effort and the, you know, you're here.
Make a mark.
Make a mark, or just try and just do. It's like, if you wake up, you might as well get dressed. You know, it's that kind of mentality. It's living each day like you have something to live for.
Yeah.
And I think I don't even have a second value. That's the one value that matters to me. Is my partner gonna wake up each day? And even if you're gonna spend a day bumming, bum hard, my guy. Like, bum so hard so that the next day you can do the complete opposite. I just, you know, that. And
I was thinking about soul, but I can go off on a tangent.
Oh, we could not today. Not today. But yes.
Soul changed my life a little bit.
But that, you know, but that. You don't have to be. But dude, God's soul was
live life. It was so good. It was so good.
Because he wanted one thing and he wanted that so hard, but realized, you know, I can still have over here and be fulfilled. Ooh, good movie.
Where's the ocean? You're in it. Like, you're in it. This little thing, I want the ocean. No, you're in the ocean already.
You're in.
Enjoy while you're in it.
I'm going to skip number 7 because we kind of.
No, don't skip it.
That. Well, it's what made you decide to start dating. There you go.
Yeah.
I was going to skip it. We already talked about it.
Okay, I got curious. I was like, because I was going to think about that the entire time.
What makes a successful partnership?
It's literally in the question, partnership. like I was just talking about this today too. Is
You
that
look like you're about to cry.
I would no, I might. I'm not even gonna lie. I was just talking about this today. I've been in relationships where I was the sole, I don't know, breadwinner, provider, like emotional giver, I guess.
Yeah.
Or at least I felt it was one-sided in that type of thing. And because I was doing everything, I didn't feel like I had someone that I could trust on the other side, someone that had my back on the other side, someone who could support me on the other side. And in a partnership, it's so nice to know that you got nothing but support and love, and that you want to give that back. And it's like, I can take the lead when we need it. When we need it, I need to stress that. She can take the lead when we need it. And it's like a constant flow of like, I got you, you got me. That's support. It's a partnership. And I feel like a lot of relationships, and not to like knock on anybody's like, I want to stay at home and like and do like the stay at home stuff.
Sure.
Because that in and of itself is a partnership. Like you go out and work and you go out and you take care of everything, because that shit is hard. But sorry for the cursing. But I feel like there needs to be a mutual understanding of what you two want, and then you're both working to get it, and you're giving each other, and you're covering each other. You're doing checkpoints.
We're doing checkpoints to say, hey, how are we feeling? Do we need to switch? Do we need to, what do you want to achieve? Do you feel like you're achieving in life? How can I? It's that ebb and weave.
It's choosing your partner every day.
And the last question: how do you handle confrontation?
Oh, I love this question. I actually ask this on first dates like a lot. Is I like to sit down and talk to understand, and I would rather get it out of the way right now. Like, how are you feeling? What did I do wrong that I can like go? But then I also want to, get my side off, because I do feel like there's always two sides to every story. And if there's a part that I feel doesn't want to listen to my side, I tend to check out, because that makes me feel like you don't care. What I have to learn is that sometimes people don't have the bandwidth emotionally to sit there and talk all day. So I got to let them go. Yeah. But I have to trust that they're going to come back and we can resolve it when they're ready.
Give them their time, right? And then, collect their thoughts.
But I will be clocking and counting, and I won't bring it up. I know it sounds bad, that if you never come back to discuss it again, because those things pile up. You know what I'm saying?
I think if I felt that they were taking too long, I would bring it up, and if they immediately just dismissed it,
not even taking too long. I usually give conversations that need to be had about a week. Because why are you coming to me 2 weeks later about a conversation we had 2 weeks ago?
It could be really dressy. You don't know what's going on.
Why did it take you 2 weeks, right? But here's the thing. A lot of times after a week, I say a week, but I'll never bring it up. I'll move on. It is what it is. But at the same time, we never resolved this issue. And not only that, you did it on your terms.
That's you harboring.
But that's not me harboring.
Because it's something that bothers you. And if it's something that bothers you, you should bring it up and say, hey, I understand you don't want to talk about this. You don't have to. I just want to get this. And at least then it's off of your chest.
But can I speak from experience, though? It's like when I do that, when I do that, I would hear, why are you bringing up old stuff? Because it doesn't matter to the other side now, because they let it sit too long. But you promised me that we will resolve this, and it never got resolved.
I think that then the way that I phrase that, if I'm in your position, is you may not want to talk about it, but I need for myself to say this, so you can either listen or not, but that's on you at that point. I've
said it in so many ways, like, hey, can we get to this? Why are you bringing up the old stuff? And it's like, it's not old to me, because I was promised that we would resolve it. Like, I've listened to you.
This is not important to you, though.
You know, and that's where it is. I feel like there always needs to be, because again, you know how people say don't go to bed upset?
I'd just be going to bed.
But you know the phrase.
I'd just be going to bed.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't go to bed upset, that type of thing. If I say like, hey, I understand you don't want to talk about this right now, but we do need to resolve this and get to a place where we can be like, okay, cool. Whether it's to agree to disagree, agree, whatever, we need to get to that point. And then you just leave it. And then I think you're constantly running from that thing now.
Running from me.
You're running from me. You're running from the relationship. And you're trying to pretend that it didn't happen when it happened and it hasn't been resolved. And on top of that, now there's new things, new conversations, new debates, new arguments piling up. And it's like, well, we didn't resolve this or this or this.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
And that's what I said. You see what I'm saying? And then it's to that point where you're like,
just fuck this
we're
shit,
just piling now. Like, we're just piling. And then the sad part is, it's like, I'm either piling on my thing because I don't want to talk about things no more. You're piling up on your side and we're just creating a bunch of stress.
No, it's not worth it.
So that's why I like to sit and talk. If you need to take your space, I'm getting better at letting you take your space. but just let me know. Just promise me that we have to come back. You know,
just break up with you. I move on. No confrontation whatsoever. No,
that's quick.
I don't know. I know that in my friendships I handle confrontation not great, and then sometimes amazingly. So it really depends. It's a case by case situation. But I know that confrontation is something that I actively need to work on because again, if
relationship is confrontation.
I know that because we've had confrontations, and I think in that moment it was a lot that I had nothing to do but to expel it, and then we ate food like an hour later.
Exactly.
You know?
That's what I'm saying. Like you gotta get it out. I feel like that's very important because toxicity is a thing that like people don't realize. It's not just abusive behavior in a sense of like
hurts you
internally where two people are hurting and then one person who needs like a little bit of release, whether that be to get it all out and just lay it out on the table or walk away and then come back and say like, hey, I didn't agree with that. Whatever you deal with that, it needs to come to a place of like rest.
Understanding.
Right? You need to come to a place of understanding. You need to put that to bed so you can forgive, forget, or not, whatever. So
speaking of putting things to bed, this is a very long episode.
I like it.
It's time that
2
we
hours.
put this episode.
Let's go 2 hours.
No, it is time that we put this episode to bed. We got to give them something to look forward to for next time. That being said, I do want to leave you, just like I said with Juju, what is the movie that you feel like you base your relationships off of? Is there a comic book story? Is there a comic book relationship that you feel like you base your life around?
Like a comic book couple?
Comic book couple.
That's a really, really good freaking question.
I know that. I ask really, really good questions. Sit on that and let me know the next time you're on the show. And?
Because he has a lot.
Just Peter Parker.
Peter Parker. You know what? Peter Parker and Felicia Hardy.
Okay, Black Cat.
Constantly, it's a constant series of right person, wrong time.
Love that. Because I do think he's more Felicia than...
Yeah, I do think that if, like, Marvel said that we're going to end Spider-Man today, I think Felicia should be the one that he ends up with, to be honest.
Well, the question is if it's Peter's last day, who is he running to say goodbye to? If he can only choose one person to say goodbye to.
It's Gwen Stacy if she was alive.
Well, that's fine. But do you think he would run to Gwen? Would he run to Mary Jane or would he run to Felicia?
He would definitely run to Gwen.
That's ridiculous.
He would definitely run. Because Gwen is the only, like, he literally told MJ, like, yo.
You're wrong. He would run to May.
That's who he thinks of. MJ
he would run to Aunt May. You are right.
I thought we were talking romantic.
we are. That being said, guys, as always, put your responses down in the comments if you have stories. If you have stories you want us to talk about, discuss on the podcast, put them down in the comments as well. But as always, we're leaving. So with love, MooreAmor.
See, I put this up without even knowing you were going to. I didn't know your outro.
That's my sign off.
See.
With love, MooreAmor.
I'm not even good at hearts. I'm just holding it up.
You gotta do the old school, like the Gen Z.
I can't do it. I don't know how to do it.
You
I just throw up gang signs.
They not like us.
All right.